welcome back to Evermore YouTube channel. It's Chris back with your match preview for Newcastle United's huge game this Sunday against Arsenal. Second place Arsenal. We will be having a huge say on the title race as we march on towards hopeful Champions League qualification. So we're going to get stuck into this, have a little look at how we think the lads are going to line up, talk a little bit about the head-to-heads as we always do, and just give you a little bit of a take on where we think the game may be won or drawn. We don't want to talk about losses these days. Hopefully, we won't lose this game as well, but it will be a massive game, and I'm really looking forward to it. So just before we do, a little reminder, if you're new to the channel, you're just checking us out the first time, please subscribe. We'd love you to come and join us. We're over 3,220 subs. We've had loads of new subs in the last few weeks, so massive thank you to everyone who's done that. Loads of content coming on Evermore. Make sure you check us out. 2 live shows, Mondays and Wednesdays, and pop the videos just like this preview one you're about to watch. So smash the button and you won't regret it. Right, let's get stuck in then. So going into this game, it's unbelievable to say that we are a Champions League chasing side, and we're not even scared about second place Arsenal coming to town. It sounds like they're more scared of us than we are of them, which is just what a place to be as a Newcastle United fan these days. I sometimes have to pinch myself to remember this is happening, but it is happening, and it's an enjoyable time to be a Newcastle fan. But how do we think the lads are going to line up? We have got some injury worries going into this game. I think primarily the biggest injury is worries Sean Longstaff. So Sean had a foot injury. We thought initially it was a broken foot, which it wasn't. Eddie Howe has said they're going to assess him before the game. Now, we've done this lineup on the premise that Sean won't be fit to play. I hope he is, because I think he's integral, certainly in games like this where you need his energy, you need his press, and it allows the likes of Bruno, Willock, and Joe Linton to go and express themselves. But we've put this lineup together on the premise that Sean won't make it. So what we've done is we've brought in Murphy into the right-hand side of the front three, push Miggy over to the left. I don't think Gordon will get a start. It was disappointing for him against Southampton. As I say, I don't think he did that bad. But I think, with that game kind of, that chance not taken, I don't think Eddie will put him into a game as big as this. I think he'd probably rather go with Murphy and Almiron. Having said that, Maxi has been training, and there's been pictures and videos of him. He does look quite sharp, so you never know. Maxi could maybe slip his way into the starting 11. But I think because he's been out for so long, he's probably going to be kept as an impact player off the bench. Now, this could totally change. If Sean isn't available, Eddie may be tempted to put Callum Wilson through the middle and Isak out left. Now, I could easily see that happening as well. I know I watched a video with Craig Hope, and Craig Hope thought this might be the time that this happens if Sean isn't fit. Now, some people have said, guys in the channel have said that they don't think that's what Eddie wants to do. He wants to have one up top, not two up top. But we've seen how much they complement each other and just how dynamic the pair of them are together. When Isak pulls out to that left-hand side, his ability to just ghost past players, and then Callum's ability to find that space in the box and finish with aplomb. Just a little note on Callum Wilson. I think he's only 2 goals behind Papa Cisse and Nobby Solano, who are on 37 for the club. So if Wilson can get a brace in your face, as he says on his podcast, this weekend he'll draw level with those guys, and then you back him to be ahead of them come the end of the season. But we could quite easily see Wilson and Isak in this team. I for one, would actually like to see that. We picked this probably on a safe measure, what Eddie was going to do. Obviously, the back five is as it is. But I think it would be quite exciting to see Wilson and Isak up top together, especially given the fact that Arsenal, even though they're 1 point away from Manchester City, and they've played a game more, I still don't think they're going to win the title, to be brutally honest with you. But their team news, again, they're struggling. I think they've got Saliba missing out again, which is a massive blow for them. I mean, he's been so integral to them. I think he got in the FIFA team of the season, as did Kieran Trippier. So massive congrats to Trips. But he's been such a big miss for them, and they're going up against 2 of the most informed strikers in the Premier League. I think goals to game ratio, it's only Haaland that's ahead of Isak and Wilson. So, Arsenal will be devastated not having that lad available going into this game. Just looking at the rest of the team news that they've got there, I think Trossard's going to drop out probably for Martinelli. I mean, they will have a strong lineup. I'm just looking at Sportsmall here. Big shout out to Sportsmall. Love what they do. Their possible lineup for Arsenal is Ramsdale, White, is Kiwor, Gabriel, Zinchenko, Xhaka. Now, I'll come to Xhaka in a minute. Partey, Saka, Odegaard, Martinelli, and Jesus. That is a really good side, to be fair. It's a really good side. And Newcastle will have to be at their best to get anything out of this game. But I just think that the way we're playing, the form we're in, the confidence in the lads, St James's Park, War flags have already got it out there. Bring your scarves. Hopefully there'll be a bit of thunderstruck before the game, which I remember going to the Southampton game, and that was honestly one of the most electric atmospheres I've ever seen as well. I was in level 7, and when thunderstruck hit, I felt like I was in the clouds, just levitated with the vibration of the ground. So if that's the atmosphere that meets Arsenal on Sunday, yet again, they may have lost the game before they've even stepped out onto the grass. But they are a really good team, so you can't take them for granted. Now, just a little bit on Xhaka, as I said there. Now, for me personally, I'm not a massive fan of Xhaka. I know he's calmed himself down a bit this season. We did the Evermore podcast on Wednesday, and Lee, who's always worried about everything because it's ingrained in him as from years of torture from Newcastle United. He's ingrained to think of the worst case scenario. But I don't think Xhaka can lace Bruno's boots. I really don't. I think Bruno will take the piss out of him. I think he'll knock it through his legs. I think he'll wind him up. I think Joe Linton will clatter him. And I think Xhaka will lose his head. I really do. He did it last season, didn't he? When we played him, he was battered all over the park, and then they lost the game 2-0 and they screwed the Champions League chances. I don't think Xhaka can go anywhere near Joe Linton and Bruno in that midfield. I really don't. Odegaard is a brilliant player. There's no doubt about that at all. One of the best young midfielders in the world, and we have to really make sure we're on him. So this is why we need Longstaff. If Longstaff can play, you can just get into Odegaard's face and stop him finding those little fantastic through balls that he does and getting on the ball, maybe getting to attack and goal scoring positions as well. And Xhaka, obviously I'm a bit worried about Xhaka versus Burn. You could be tempted to bring Target in. I think Target showed in the Everton game he is a bit rusty because he hasn't played a lot of football, and we've got a backburn because he has done tremendously well this season. So either way, we're going to have to be on top of our game. But I had feeling pretty confident about the game, I must admit. So I'll get into my prediction in a minute. But just before we do a little bit of head-to-head, which might help influence my decision and yours, possibly in the comments below, let us know. So yeah, as we go into this, we're third, they're second. Look at the form guide. Our form guide is better than theirs. Arsenal really tailed off a little bit, allowing Manchester City to seize control of that title picture, and I think it will be their league now. And Arsenal could possibly lose this title race on Sunday at St James's Park. But in the 55 Premier League games, we've only won 11 versus Arsenal's 33. But as I always say, when we look at these stats, and I always say it, for a long time, we have been absolutely shit when these games have been played. We are not shit anymore. You give us 2 or 3 seasons playing this type of football with this type of squad under this type of manager and these fixtures, these stats go the other way around. But it's been 11 draws. Newcastle have got 43 goals versus Arsenal's 90. The reverse fixture this season at the Emirates, obviously we ground out a really good 0-0 draw. Dan Burn again was in trouble from Saka earlier on. And then I think Joe Linton came across and helped them out. So I think that'll be something that Eddie drills into the guys, not to let Saka run at Burn and, catch him on his toes like he did last time. 2-0 win last season, as we said, that electric game where Arsenal hit meltdown on their all or nothing documentary, and they got nothing from that game. I think they lost it before they even stepped onto the grass. But that last season ended a 7-game run of defeats for us. Prior to that, Newcastle, we scored in 5 in just 16 games. Newcastle had 1 defeat at home this season. There's unbelievable stats. And 3 of Arsenal's 4 defeats have been away. So that's a great stat by Mark in the stats there as well. So, they're not great away from home. They have been caught by teams. And, I don't think anyone wants to come to St James's Park outside of the Etihad. I think in the Premier League right now, St James's Park is not the ground that you want to come to. Certainly when you're 1 point off in a title race, trying to win your first title since the Arsene Wenger days. Arsenal fans won't want this fixture. They would rather it wasn't there. But for us, we've got Champions League to concern ourselves with. I think we need 2 more wins to secure it. And if we get this win on Sunday, I think we'll more or less can start getting the passports dusted off and start looking at European destinations and checking out TripAdvisors and everything else. I think because if we beat Arsenal, and I hope to God we beat that fat wanker Sam Allardyce's Leeds, then we could pretty much be home and dry with a couple of games to spare. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. This is a huge game. Where do I think it's going to go? I'm going for a draw. I did say 2-1. I never more, but I've had a little think about it. I think my heart says 2-1 to Newcastle, which could easily happen, the form that we're in. And my head says 1-1. I just think Arsenal do possess a lot of ability going forward, and we might just get caught short, even though we've got the best defence in the Premier League. But listen, I'd love 2-1, but I think realistically, it's probably going to be 1-1. And I would take either of those results. Obviously, a win is brilliant. A draw is just as good in this race for the Champions League. After Man U slipped up against Brighton midweek, which was brilliant for us. We've got to beat Leeds and beat Leicester, then we're pretty much there. So a draw is not the end of the world for Newcastle United, but a win would be even better. But let us know what you guys think in the comments below, what you think the result's going to be. Let me know if you agree or disagree with our team, if you make any changes as well. And if you can, like the video, it really helps get it around YouTube, and it really helps the channel grow. As I mentioned at the start, if you haven't, consider subscribing. We're over 3,220 subs now. We're not even 2 years old, so it's been unbelievable growth in terms of subs in the last few months. So thank you so much, everybody who has clicked that button. And there's loads of room for you if you're just watching for the first time on Evermore. Come and join us. I'll probably be back with a post-match review live again, so come and check that one out. Hopefully it'll be another 3 points for the Champions League chasing Magpies. So that's me done. If you like this kind of thing, as I say, smash the button. Keep supporting that team of Core United. Enjoy the game tomorrow if you go in. Enjoy the coronation if you're watching it. If you don't care, hey, fair play. But I'll catch you later, everybody. Cheers, bye.